Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us for this 10th installment of Talking VoIP with Datagate, where we go on a learning journey of subjects related to VoIP and UCaaS from the perspective of MSPs and wholesale telecom providers. I'm Mark Loveys, CEO of Datagate Telecom Billing, and in today's episode, Autotask MSP's journey from early adopter to Cloud Depot. Our guest is Roupen Egulian, the founder and chairman of Cloud Depot in Australia. Roupen ran a successful MSP in Sydney, Australia for 15 years and was one of the first customers of what is now known as Datto Autotask PSA. More recently, he's become a software entrepreneur, establishing Cloud Depot and a range of software products that add value to the Datto Autotask PSA. Of course, Datagate has a special interest in Datto Autotask PSA because we've integrated the Datagate Telecom Billing system with it as well, and we've become part of the Datto Autotask community. Roupen, welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Mark. It's a pleasure.
Excellent. And look, Roupen, you obviously have a lot of experience in the IT MSP industry. How did you get started and to the point of having your own MSP and being one of Autotask's first customers?
Well, I've been doing IT since I was in my teens. I started doing work experience at an IT shop every school holidays for a couple of years. And then after a while, I got my first customer at 17, doing the odd jobs that everyone says, Roupen, can you come and fix it? So I went and fixed them. And then over the time in 99, I started my first MSP. I was a break fix like every other IT startup, learning the ropes of how everything fits together. And over time, we slowly moved to a managed system. So that was the time where I started looking around for some software. I found NetSuite back then, which I started to use, and then realized that was a bit too big for my environment. We weren't a very big team. We were just starting up, so we had 2 or 3 people. And then we looked online and I found Autotask. I saw the demonstration. It was fantastic. It was a system that, was what we wanted, which was all about ticketing and service calls, which is what our business is. And wanted to make sure that, we can provide a service to our customers with service level agreements where, when you're in a managed environment, service level agreements become a big role and a big part of business. So I signed up, and I remember when I first signed up, the document that was signed by Autotask was Bob Goddard, which I think at the time was the founder and CEO of Autotask. Wow. I didn't know that when it was signed. It was just like, okay, another salesperson, I suppose. But over time, and then I looked at it more and more, and then a couple of months later, I said, I better find out who Bob is, and I'm going, he's the CEO, and I'm going, wow, okay, That's not really usually the case where a CEO or founder signs you up to a product. I think it was still in the early stages of the product, but over time, it's grown to be a awesome tool for an MSP or for any technology provider that provides services in general. It's been really good. So that's in a nutshell how we got to the MSP world. Obviously, I've still got that contract somewhere because someone said it's the old CEO, so I'm going to keep it like a memorabilia type of thing. Put it in the boardroom one day.
No, that's amazing. And I guess with a lot of software companies, that's how it starts. The CEO or the founder signs them up, and it's pretty cool. You're obviously there right at the early days. So over the years, what sort of things what have been the major improvements to Autotask over the years that you've seen? What do you think of the major milestones?
The major milestones was when they changed their interface. That was about 5 or 6 years ago, where they changed the interface. They used to have a pretty, I don't know, it wasn't clunky, but it wasn't the best visual, right? It wasn't a something that you look at every day. It was, it wasn't the best because obviously they're just moving, they're just setting up their systems and making sure. But then I think a couple of years back, they started to make the system more user-friendly. So we've got widgets now, we've got new project modules. There's a lot more functions and features that have also come into play, which has been awesome. One of the things they've worked on is their projects, which has been really good. Yeah. And obviously, the powerful part of Autotask where they've been obviously improving is their workflows. It is the most powerful tool I've seen on the market.
Right, excellent. And do you have any tips or advice to MSPs that are using Autotask as the approach to get the best value out of the product?
Yeah, take your time and learn workflows,
Right.
because that is the most powerful part of the system. It helps you not only communicate with your clients, but also internally as well, and manages your SLAs. So, it saves a human time where they can be more efficient in other parts of the business, and provide the workflows provide that extra functionality to help improve your systems, because, in a service industry, communication is key, right? If you get a ticket from a customer, you don't reply, people will assume you're either closed or you don't care.
Right.
Meanwhile, these workflows, they can send a ticket. When an engineer gets assigned, they'll receive another correspondence saying you've been assigned an engineer. It keeps them in the loop. At least they're aware of where it is, not stuck in the lurch.
Yep.
So it's a very, very powerful tool, which helps you manage your business for the internally, but also on an external perspective.
Right. And what advice would you give to MSPs that want to grow their business? What do you think are the key things to growing?
Yeah, so the key parts would be, integrate your systems, right? Don't leave them disparate. Try and integrate as much as you can. But the end result is try and use one master system. So, for example, utilize Autotask as your primary source of information. Put everything in there and use integrations to get you the info you want to provide a better service to your client in one platform. You don't want your technicians having 15 screens open and figure out which one's what and who's providing the service. Things like, for example, getting your VoIP call usage rated and putting it into a contract. So when someone calls the help desk, they know they're a telco customer. If they're on two separate systems, they're not going to know that they're a telco customer. And then they're going to go, well, you don't exist in our system, and that's not really good for customer service.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. And so, Roupen, you've made, I guess, a transition from being an MSP into being a software entrepreneur. How did that come about? How did you end up in the software business?
Yeah, so while using Autotask used to connect with QuickBooks. And unfortunately, QuickBooks wasn't the most stable platform that I could utilize. So I went on the journey to find another accounting solution and found Xero. I'm not a programmer. I'm a hardware guy. I like getting my hands dirty and going in cables and running all the stuff. So I get all the exciting stuff. But I looked online and found a dev development company in New Zealand. And I engaged them to build the software for myself internally. So I was basically the first user of our product, MyAccountingToolbox. So I was the test, make sure it worked, and all the rest of it. But over time, going to the IT conferences and IT seminars, what do you guys use for accounting? QuickBooks, it's not working, it's crap, blah blah blah. And I said, all right, well, I've just built something to Xero. Would you guys be interested? Yeah, I'll be interested. So, a few months later, I commercialized it. I brought in my dev team then, and now they're the internal dev team at Cloud Depot. So we've basically built the product for myself, and then we commercialized it. So currently we do about $100 million of invoices on behalf of MSPs globally. We've got, our product is a global product, and over time it's just been growing. We've been improving it as we go through, and the APIs are getting better on the Autotask side, because obviously it's limited of what we can get out and what we can push in, and that's how I got into the world of software development. So that was our first product.
Wow.
Then, so over time we said we want to improve the flow. So then we built a recurring payment solution, which took 18 months to build, and that's the next product that we have that is in our product suite.
Wow, excellent. And I see also, looking at your website, that you also offer development services for Autotask and perhaps Xero. Tell me about what you offer there.
Yeah, so we obviously, you can't fit the product to every user. user specifications. And over time, people go, okay, have you ever built this to this? And have you ever built to that? And we said, well, no, we haven't had any major feature requests to build them, but we're more than happy to build something custom development to you guys. So what we do is we basically build some tools that integrate ServiceNow to Autotask for a customer. They like the ticketing system, but they want to use parts of the ServiceNow solution. To different accounting systems, like someone wanted to Sage and some other systems. It's not our core product that we retail or resell, but it's specifically built for them. And in the Xero side, we've built our own APIs, so we can basically integrate anything to anything, provided we know where the information is coming from. So we're using the experience over the last 10 years on Autotask. We started with our API at 1.1 or 1.2. Now we're at 1.6, 1.7. So we've been through a few versions. We've been through a few versions. We've learned a few things along the way. And that's So some people come and ask, can you build this? And we go, maybe. Here's your cost. And if they accept it, we build it.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. Great to know that. And so how well are Autotask and Xero, how well are they matched, in terms of what they do for the MSP? Are they a well-matched product?
Well, we've made it a well-matched relationship, as I call it. We've provided whatever information we're able to get out of the Autotask environment, whether it be purchase orders, products, services, invoices, client information, and bringing it into the Xero environment. Both have got their pros and cons of each side, but we try and manage and accommodate, the essentials where customers actually really need and, not really need bits and pieces. But again, it's working well so far. Both cloud-based, which is also pretty good, because Autotask started on a cloud level. They didn't go as a fat software and then moved to the cloud, as I call it. So they've started from the right spot from the beginning, and that's what made it easier for the integrations to happen.
Absolutely, yeah. We've certainly found the same thing with Datagate being a cloud product as well. And Roupen, what general advice would you give to MSPs with using software for their MSP businesses? What should they be looking for in any software package?
Well, the software packages that I would consider based on an MSP level is only get what you're going to resell and only get what you're going to really want to learn, right? If you look at the MSP world, there's 5,000 AVs, there's 10,000 cyber security providers. You can integrate to everything and anything, but only integrate to what you know, right? It's very important. The IT world changes. Is an evolving industry that changes every couple of years. COVID showed us that, we don't get any people calling from Manila or anywhere to selling us, other things because of COVID, which is probably a good thing. But then now we've got text messages and, FedEx deliveries thinking that we're going to get delivers that we're not. And it's changed a lot over time from phone to, text messages and emails. But yeah, I would recommend, stick to the suite that price is not everything as well. If you're willing to sacrifice at the beginning, you'll probably reap the benefits later. So make sure your implementations of any system that you use, you spend time. Because if you just do half, you'll never get to 100% because you go, I've got something else to do, and it doesn't stop. So, and you'll never finish at 100. So, as an implementation, spend time, implement it right, make sure it's working to what you want. Because certain things you get installed and it's not how you thought it was going to work. Because IT, you can do one thing 6 million ways.
Yes. And Roupen, you mentioned COVID-19 there. How's COVID-19 affected your business? For the MSP side and also for your software business side?
In the MSP side, it's been steady. When the first COVID incident occurred 18 months ago now, it's like history. You couldn't find any hardware. Everything was literally, everyone wanted to work from home. So try and find a webcam or a monitor or a PC. It was very, very hard. But services were, obviously were accelerated because, people didn't plan, or how would you plan for something like this in the first place? But working remotely was always a task. So you had to set up VPNs, and projects that were wanting to go to the cloud needed to be done 3 weeks ago and not now, which did affect the process of having set projects. That took it all out the window. Staff was also another one. We had to overflow to extra staff, which is very hard as well, because everyone's so busy and no time for themselves. But then so the MSP business didn't get affected that much, purely because everyone needs a computer, everyone needs a phone, everyone needs everything. So it's becoming a big deal to, obviously, working from home now. It's becoming a norm. I don't know if anyone wants to go to the office again. Everyone's maybe scared. I don't know. But in terms of MSP space, I didn't see any downgrade personally myself. In the software development side, we accelerated even more because people had time to sit down and go, how can I improve the systems? I don't have enough staff. Some of them are half working, some of them are not. How can I improve the system to minimize the impact to my business? It's not necessarily sacking people to fit their roles as in processes, but how can I improve it so I can help support while other things are occurring? So we had a lot of uptake in our product, where the recurring payment system, where it was collecting receivables on a monthly basis, which is, that was probably one of the things that we saw, that people's receivables grew, but no one was paying. And if you automate that component, it makes your cash flow much easier and at least predictable. You can say on the 13th, these are the direct debits that are going to occur. Then at least you can plan. So that's what happened to the software side. It's a lot more people focused on what we can do to improve what we currently have. And the MSP side was, trying to meet the demand with whatever resources you have available, because it was, the first 2 weeks of everyone going and working from home for 2 weeks, I reckon there was mayhem.
Oh, yeah.
Globally, not just in the Australian market.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, talking about globally, so you have customers around the world, from what I understand. It's not just Australia.
Yeah. So we've got UK, US. We've got some in Dubai. We've got some in Malaysia. So we're in a global. Our product works on a global level because it looks at the Autotask environment. Our recurring payment service works globally on the Stripe level, which is a credit card gateway. We're going to enable the direct debit function of that in next quarter. It's in our dev. And then we do direct debit and bank accounts in the 5 major regions: AU, UK, US, and New Zealand.
Brilliant.
So we're trying to accommodate for everyone, but again, it depends.
That's right. It's amazing these days, isn't it? How, everything's so international, and there's a lot of opportunity there. And so Roupen, thank you very much for being our guest on this latest installment of Talking VoIP with Datagate. You have a fantastic story, and that our audience will enjoy. And so as we finish off, can you please tell our audience how they can contact you and Cloud Depot and find out more about your offerings?
Yeah, so we've got our website, www.clouddepot.com. We've got all our products there. We've got an online chat system. And after this podcast, we're more than happy to provide my personal email account, where you guys can request any information you wish, see demonstrations, and see how we can improve your business.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Roupen. It's been great talking with you. And I'd like to also thank all our viewers for joining us. May the VoIP be with you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.